Do you wish that you had more time in the day to get all the things you want to get done because it just never seems to be enough? Or maybe you're wondering, why don't I have enough time? What am I actually spending my time on, despite me having all of the conveniences of the modern world, these time-saving tools and applications, and the conveniences that we have at our fingertips, and yet time isn't enough? Well, stay tuned in this video because I'm going to be asking some interesting questions about how you spend your time and how you might want to change that to improve the outlook of your life. Hi guys, Calvin again. So, time. How do you spend your time? And what do you spend your time on? I wouldn't want to talk about time from a philosophical point of view, as in is time a real thing? But it's much more about how it's spent and what it's spent on that I want to talk about in this video, because it came to me yesterday as I was sitting in the restaurant in a wet summer London's day, and I was enjoying a sourdough pizza with a nice cold refreshing drink with a friend, and we were talking about I guess how fortunate we are to be able to experience this, especially in the context of a lot of struggle that's happening for people, not only in this country but around the world. Particularly as I came across an article recently, since the pandemic has hit, half of the country is now in abject poverty, half of the entire nation. And of course that is rippling out throughout the entire world into a lot of other countries as well. And here I am, fortunate to be able to pick up and not worry about what I'm going to have or where or how I'm going to get my next meal, and all of these kinds of basic things that we take for granted, right? So fortunate, how fortunate am I to be in this position? And many of you might identify with that. So it got me thinking about, and you may have heard about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The Maslow's hierarchy of needs is something often taught in leadership workshops, but it's also a kind of a model to approach what motivates mankind, if you like. And it talks about our basic needs, our psychological needs, and our self-fulfillment needs. So just loosely, let's start at the basic needs. At the base level, Maslow highlights that we have physiological needs. That's, food, water, sex, warmth, rest. He also talks about safety needs. We need to feel safe. We need safety and security. We need income, stable employment. We need our health. We need to feel that everything is okay, basically. Then as he moves into psychological needs, that is, talking about one, belongingness and loving needs. So, we have, those are all relationship based things. Okay. We're talking about friends. We're talking about family. We're talking about intimacy. We're talking about sense of connection. And then we have esteem needs. This is, feeling respected. We have recognition for our work. We feel strong and accomplished in where we are, who we are, what we do. And then after that, in self-fulfillment, it is all about actualization, or self-actualization, if you want to say that. This is achieving one's full potential. Achieving one's full potential. And this is the thing that I really want to focus on here. Are you spending your time in activities that are helping you to reach your full potential? Now, we are fortunate if we live in a world where we don't have to worry about our basic needs because they're already met. And most of us are cultivating, certainly at least in Western societies, are cultivating our relationships and our, shall we say, psychological needs. Now, this is not to say that sometimes we don't drop down into concerns about our basic needs, nor is it to say that everybody's basic needs are met in these societies. I recognize that relative poverty exists all around the world. But how fortunate are we to be born in a society which gives us a certain standard of living, which then gives us time. It gives us time. We don't have to wake up. Imagine being in the animal kingdom and everything is driven by our basic survival. You know, I need to eat. I need to stay warm. I need to rest. I need to procreate. So that now not being a significant source of worry or concern for a lot of people in the Western world, or people who have a standard of living of that equivalence, we've been given some time, right? Now, what are we doing with that time? That's my question. What are you doing with that time? Now, Comparitech recently released some data which suggests that the average person spends 4 hours or more on Netflix. We're spending over 2 hours on social media. Now, this is not, by the way, a complaint, because you are in fact consuming this content on social media, and it has, of course, a lot to offer to keep us connected. I am not complaining or even decrying that. I enjoy my Netflix as rewards for my work, or Prime Video, or Disney Plus, or whatever other entertainment there might be online. My real point here is that, are we consuming it consciously? Are we spending our time consciously? And then we bring a degree of mindfulness to the way we spend our time, then we can really see not only how we're currently spending our time, but then we're able to appraise whether or not what we're spending our time on is moving us up the pyramid towards our full potential. So fortunate we are that our basic needs are met. For some, our psychological needs are met. We have this spare capacity now to focus on our true potential, or achieving our true potential, living our true potential. It is similar in a way to the high degrees of automation. People are talking about artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and how that's going to spread into all areas of the workplace. We're already seeing it accelerating as a result of COVID, right? So this artificial intelligence is creeping into all these areas of our life. Automation, these bots and so on, are helping to do the heavy lifting. They're taking a lot of mental and physical tasks away from us and giving us spare capacity. Hence, by the way, the benefit that some people are big proponents of, they call that universal basic income. So the idea is that with this spare capacity, and the things that people no longer need to do to focus on their survival, i.e. our basic needs, then we now create, through a universal basic income, is basically a standard rate of income paid to every adult in the world, regardless of your earning potential already. It's essentially saying, now you can focus on those things, free people up to focus on higher level activities, adding more value to the society in which we live, but I argue helps us to focus our energies on doing things that move us towards our potential. I believe we all have a voice inside that speaks. I call it the inner narrator. And that inner narrator is always speaking, and it wants to express itself. It wants us to express our creativity and our unique gifts into the world, and so that we can help all of mankind evolve. And that cannot be heard unless we listen, and that cannot be realized unless we devote our time to these activities that support that. So I'm saying now is the time to rediscover our voice and step into our power. Now, you know by now that I'm an advocate for mindfulness as a pathway towards that end. It is a way to open the door into this new dimension of exploration. to help us unlock our true and full potential. So, without decrying any of these things that I love myself, it is just about consuming these things consciously, Netflix, social media, or whatever else we spend our time on, drinking, whatever. If we're doing this consciously, then we can then be more balanced as to what we spend our time on. And we can make choices, conscious choices, mindfully step towards activities. Now with this spare time that we have, this additional resource towards achieving our highest potential. So 3 things we can do to walk towards our highest potential. First, I would say is let's start meditating. If we meditate together and if we make that time to step out of the thinking mind, we can tap in to a true, voice or a reality that we probably don't give any attention to while we're focused on so many of the material aspects of our lives. The second thing we can do is get out into nature more. Get out into nature and connect with nature so that nature can work for us and help us to step out of fight or flight. You may have even heard me talking about forest bathing in some of my previous videos, which is about helping us to get into nature and let nature do its work for us because of the symbiotic relationship we have with it, particularly the trees, which help us to de-stress, tap into our nervous system, and get us back to homeostasis. And the third thing is contemplation. As you go about your day, you may be able to contemplate on one theme, and you may want to contemplate on the theme of today, which is that we have a voice inside. There is a true voice inside that speaks, and it wants to express itself, the true inner narrator, the true you, and we just need to listen. And how can you access that voice? So, quick video, how you're spending your time, what are you spending your time on, and how now might you be able to change that to spend your time on activities that move you closer towards your highest potential because of the opportunity that we have available to us in the life that we lead, the good fortune that we have to not struggle, to not worry about our basic physiological needs being met, because they are. Thank you so much for watching my video. Why not download my Simplify Your Life workbook with practical step-by-step tips to declutter your life to make way for the things that matter.